Namaste. You are now tuned in to 13scienceastrology.com. I'll be your master of ceremony. My name is Ra'am Hotep. Thank you for listening. I thank you for watching. This episode is going to be, it's a lot to talk about, and I really don't have a lot of time to talk about it, but this is a very important episode, and I'm going to do my best to put as much information in this episode as possible. Now, I know many of you have heard about it, but it's a really hot topic, and I could have been covered it, but it's a reason why I waited, and I'm glad I waited. But there is an alignment taking place, Star David alignment, and this has been something that's been building up. This alignment has been building up for this whole month of July, and this Star David alignment is very important and very key when it comes to really, when we talk about occult initiations and getting initiated into the occult. This is the most important day and the most important time when it comes to getting initiated in this world initiation that we talk about. That's going to happen one day, where those particular people that are on this planet, there's going to come a time one day where every being on this planet, if they want to stay on this planet and exist on this planet, they're going to have to be initiated into the occult. And a lot of people back in the days, when they first heard about this announcement, they were scared because they thought that this meant that people were going to have to start worshiping the devil and Satan and stuff like that. But if you follow my channel and watched a lot of my videos, you'll know that there is no devil the way most people look at it. There is no Satan the way most people look at it. There's just different beings that are composed of different types of energies. And one day, some of the darker beings and some of the beings that are composed of darker energy, one day they would come back and make their presence known on the earth. And we call this the return of the ancient ones, or the return of the archonic energy that is to return to the planet. So this has been going on since 2012, like this whole build-up. And what happens now is that since we're entering into a new phase of time now, we're going into the time of the 1,000 years of peace. And many people have heard about this time or whatever, where the Mayans talked about there was going to be a time where there was going to be totally peace, all wars were going to end, and there was going to be harmony on this planet. And this is something that humanity has to embrace. 1,000 years of peace is something that humanity has to embrace if humanity wants to survive, and if humanity wants to thrive and still be able to occupy this planet. And not only this planet, but if humanity wants to be able to make this shift and be able to start going to different planets and different dimensions. You talk about the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. You'll never get there, and we'll never get there as a species if we don't make these alignments and if we don't get initiated into this new energy. And this Star David alignment is very interesting. The last time we've had a Star David alignment was back in 1947. I believe it was February the 7th from our research. And the last time we had a Star David alignment, it involves 6 planets. This particular alignment involves 7 planets, not 6, 7 planets. And the last one, when we had the last Star David alignment, this marked the end of the war, or the beginning of the end of the World War II that was taking place during the time. So really, the last Star David alignment actually marked the beginning of the baby boomers. When you hear about the baby boomers being born and all these children that were born after the war or whatever, when everybody was coming home from the war, and like men were meeting up with their wives, they hadn't seen them in so long, so it was like a boom. A lot of children were hitting the scene or whatever. So that's what happened during the last Star David alignment. Very key, because we're going to experience something very similar on this alignment, but this alignment is going to be more so occult and more so spiritual. The last alignment kind of introduced us into the industrial age, and this is when humans really evolved. Like, we really evolved during the last Star David alignment. I mean, everybody had a television in their home. I mean, they made it mandatory. Everybody started buying cars, houses, vehicles. So this is when we got initiated into industry during this time, and into technology. This marked the beginning of the technology phase. Now, the last time we had this alignment, which was around 1945, this was around the time of the Philadelphia experiment, which is very key, because this is when humans, our evolution sped up. The ETs started to really intervene back in 1945. This is when the Greys first hit the scene. And the Greys, they're kind of like scouts. What happens with the Greys is they come before a higher or more powerful group. So they send them as scouts to prepare people. for what's to come. So they're kind of like messengers. And that alignment basically set the stage for this alignment that we're going into now, which is approximately 68 years later, 67 or 68 years later. So now we're going into this new alignment, and this new alignment is going to mark the end of a war. Like I said, the 1,000 years of peace. It's going to mark a change in governments, very key. And it's going to bring in a new dynamic when it comes to the masculine and the feminine principle and the fusing together of the masculine and the feminine principle. Now, when you deal with a Star of David, of course, you have two triangles. A Star of David is essentially two triangles that are within each other. I don't know where I can't find a better word right now, but there's two triangles that are within each other. One triangle is pointed up, the other triangle is pointed down, forming a six-pointed star or a Star of David, or what's called a hexagram. Very key here, because if you study the term hex, like if I say I'm going to put a hex on you, that means I'm going to put a spell on you. So right now the universe is casting a spell because there's a hexagram in the sky right now. This is happening right now on the 29th. And the good thing is, if you're watching this video, I want to point this out, and it's after the 29th, you still can benefit from the energy, because I'm going to go into this. This is going to be a 3-year experience. This marks the beginning of it, but this is a 3-year thing or whatever. That's not, I'm sorry, a 4-year experience, excuse me, a 4-year experience that won't reveal itself totally until 2017 on a certain date, of which I won't give here, but I was given a date. So what happens is that when this hexagram forms in the universe, it creates a portal. It creates a portal, and this portal allows ETs to come through wholesale. Now, the last time we had this alignment, as you heard me talk about, the Greys came through. This time, the Bureau is sending some scouts. We're getting some Anunnaki type of beings that are coming through. I don't know exactly how many. I know they usually come in 50s. So we can say it's definitely going to be a minimum of 50 higher type of supreme beings coming through, representing the Bureau and ultimately representing the Anunnaki and representing the Galactic Federation. And this is happening. This is going on right now or whatever. So you have these beings coming through, and this actually started on the 19th, this alignment. And what happens is that there's another part of this conspiracy, because the reptilians did not want you to know about this really at all. And it kind of got out on the internet. So what happened is they created a conspiracy, the reptilians did. And I saw the whole conspiracy because they tried to use me. The reptilians tried to use me to promote the conspiracy. And then since I didn't promote it, they tried to kill me recently. They tried to attack me and kill me once in my sleep and once in real life, which I won't go into here because this is not a video to make myself look like, you know, I'm great or I'm some form of, you know, like people are attacking me. This is not about me, basically is what I'm saying. So, but I was used, they wanted to use me, the reptilian side wanted to use me as a part of a conspiracy. And really, I'm finding out it really wasn't just the reptilians. It's really this, they have these two galactic federations going on right now. One of them is like the real Galactic Federation. Then you have like the Black Galactic Federation. They go behind the real Galactic Federation's back and try to work rituals. Once they find out about the real Galactic Federation's information, they'll go behind them and try to do rituals based off of that. So this is this reptilian, it's the same reptilian group. They operate within this false Galactic Federation, and they put out this information about this alignment was supposed to have taken place on the 22nd. And if you really fed into that, and if you believe that, you just set yourself up and you put a spell on yourself, because that was not the day of the alignment. And they told you that day for a reason. They told you that day for a reason, but that was not the actual day. The first part of the alignment actually started on the 19th of July. Started on the 19th when there was a diamond and there was a partial 6-pointed star. There was a diamond and a triangle located in the universe, or a triangle. Now, a grand trine is when like 3 planets form a triangle in the universe. So when you have a hexagram, this is when 6 planets form grand trines in the universe, and they create a Star of David. So we had a minor trine on the 19th, which was preparing the way for the 29th. And a lot of people fed into that because they put out this information on the internet saying that it was supposed to be on. A lot of people did videos on it. You've seen these videos about 722 was supposed to be the beginning of the New World Order, and this, that, and the third, and all of this stuff. But that's not the date. That was those people that put that information out were used. Some of them were actually perpetrators of the fraud, and they weren't even used. Some of them were perpetrators of the fraud, and they created this fraud. so that they can take your energy and harness it. Because if you looked at what happened on that date, there were actually a grand square formed on that day, on the 22nd. There was a major challenge on that day. And people that fed into that and believed that that was the day of abundance and, getting their blessings, they gave their energy over to another group. And this group used them for whatever they wanted to use them for, which I won't really go into here. So there was a conspiracy centered around this alignment, the Star David alignment that took place. Now let's go into forget the conspiracy and all that. Let's go into if you're watching this video, that means you made it through the conspiracy. You've made it through the grand challenge. Now let's look at some of the gifts and blessings that are going to come through this alignment. Now, when you deal with Star David alignments, this is a good thing. You can keep this in mind. This is not a negative thing. They wanted to make it negative. They gave you that negative date, the 22nd, because that was an ominous date. 7/22 is a very ominous date, and they gave you that date to make it negative. But it's a very good thing that's taking place in the universe. You have two triangles or two trines coming together to make a hexagram. One of them is a masculine trine, and another one is more of a feminine based trine. I'm going to start with the masculine trine to help you guys understand what's going on. Now, you have Mars conjuncting Jupiter, and Mars conjuncting Jupiter is making a 120-degree angle to Saturn, and it's making another 120-degree angle to Neptune. I'm going to do my best to show you somewhat of a diagram. I cannot draw, and I didn't plan on showing you this, but I have to show you something so you can get an idea. Okay, up here, this is Mars and Jupiter. I know this is very sloppy. These are my notes. I didn't plan on showing this. This is Mars and Jupiter forming a trine to Neptune and Saturn. This is what's going on in the universe right now. So this is the first triangle. So this is involving 4 planets: Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune. Now what's happening with the first trine is this is the trine that's dealing with the mass mind. In astrology, you have planets that affect the individual mind and individuals, and then you have some planets that affect the whole and governments and stuff like that. And this first trine is dealing with government, and it's telling you what's going to happen with government and how government is going to transition. And what's going to happen with government is that the economics and things like that are going to change, especially here in America or whatever. And this whole thing about competition and I got more money than you and I'm making more money than you and this, that, and the third, all of that's going to change. The government is going to come in and take over a lot of businesses, a lot of enterprises, and they're going to kind of like even things out. The government is going to come in, or Big Brother is going to come in and kind of like introduce government into a lot of mundane businesses. So, for instance, like back in the days, you had like Procter and Gamble, the Ford Motor Company, and stuff like that. They would get contracts with the government, and then that would make their business go up because they would get a government contract or whatever, and that would make their business go up. So that was them kind of like partnering with government. So this is going to start to happen a lot more. Government is going to begin to partner with different businesses, and most businesses, the businesses that are successful, basically what I'm saying is the businesses that will thrive will be those businesses that partner with government. But as far as businesses that rely on the individual and consumers, those businesses are going to begin to dissipate because of the fact that the individual is losing power. Like individualism is going out in the sense of money and economics, and now we're getting into more of a collective energy where the government is going to come in and try to make things even out. So this is why you see all these rich people giving away all their money, like Warren Buffett and different people. They're just giving out the money away because they were preparing. See, they knew this was coming, a lot of them. So they knew like you're not going to really be able to be rich the way that it was back in the day where people was rich, driving around in Lexuses, and then there's somebody poor on the corner starving. That's not going to happen anymore. Now, however, I'm not saying that there won't be rich elitists, because we got to remember the government sits up under the elite. So you're going to have people that control. There's people that control governments. I'm talking about the masses of the people, which is like the 95% of the people right now on the planet are going to be up under the control of government. You have to be an elitist or some royal or something to be sitting over, you know what I'm saying, the government and be in a position to control governments. So that's going to be one thing that's going on. So basically what I'm saying here is that government, like, I guess the way we make money and the way we view our economy is going to change. The whole mind of I'm better than you because I got this, or keeping up with the Joneses, and that whole mentality and the whole Uncle Tom mentality, all of that stuff is going out the window because everything's going to be equaled out because we're going into the 1,000 years of peace, And this is something you have to remember. Everything I'm saying, this has been deemed by ETs and extraterrestrials because the war has to be over. So you're going to have some people that are going to fight this. And it's in the chart too that I did on this particular alignment. You're going to have some people that are going to fight this. So this is why this is the preparation time. The fulfillment won't happen until 2017 because what's going to happen is that those particular people that try to fight 1,000 years of peace, and trust me, there are people that don't want peace on this planet. There are people that make money off of wars being fought and things of that nature. And I'm not talking about elitists. I'm talking about just even regular people. There are people that make money off blood and people dying. And this is why you see when a person dies, you see these people wearing T-shirts to my rest in peace so and so or whatever. But this T-shirt costs money, and there's a company behind that making money off of death. So it's people that make money off death, and it's going to be a group of people that are going to try to stop the 1,000 years of peace. So this is the war. This is the end part of the war that's going to take place, and it's already really taking place. Because you have a group of people that don't like the new spiritual energy that's here. And a lot of people are more, see, they're more awakened, they're more wise now, and you can't get over them. See, people aren't dumb. Like, people won't just go pay $20 for something that they know they can go get for $3. That's basically what I'm saying. People are more enlightened now. So that's kind of like making the greedy, reptilian, control type of mind. See, that's going to be the mind that's going to try to fight this new energy that's coming in or whatever. So it's going to be a lot of government control because government is really basically up under the control of the ETs and those particular beings that rule over government. So they have to do whatever the ETs tell them to do, and ETs want peace. So government is going to have to step in and intervene. So that's what the first trine is going to be representing. Now the second trine, this is going to be more of what people should do. This is going to be an individual trine. Well, I'm sorry, before I go to the second trine, I also want to say that the professions that you're used to even working in, those particular professions that you're used to working out in, like say for instance, like construction, and most people are used to doing certain jobs, doctors and lawyers, the typical jobs that were relevant from the years of 1945 up until this point are going to dissipate. They're going to shift, and you're going to start to see new professions come into play, especially starting now with this new energy that's coming in. So you're going to see a lot of healers coming on the scene, a lot of different types of healers, and a lot of different types of musicians. My prediction is that music, technology, which is like internet-based businesses, and healing-based businesses and the healing professions are going to be the number one professions. See, all of this, at one point, most people don't know this, but at one point, if you were the leader of a hedge fund and you ran a hedge fund, that was like the number one profession at one point. And basically a hedge fund is when a group of people, investors, come together and they go around and they invest in stuff. What's going to happen is that people are broke. People lost a lot of their money. So most hedge funds are no more. The banks are going to control investment. So the investors are going to lose a lot of money. So that's not going to be the number one industry anymore, running a hedge fund. So, it's already going down, and you're going to find out one day people are going to see the spiritualists will be the number one industry. Those people that are into spirituality, health, and music or the arts in general. These will be the top professions when this new energy comes into play. You have to remember this new energy is very feminine, which is I'm going to go into the second trine. And the second trine, which is the connecting point, excuse my ugly handwriting, but you have Venus, the moon, and Pluto connecting and making another trine. So this is and basically what's happened is that you have this trine connecting with this trine, and it's forming a Star David or a hexagon or a portal, a six-pointed star. So you have Venus trining the moon, which is a artistic trine, dealing with art, as you can see on my notes. And then you have the moon trining Pluto, which is an emotional trine, dealing with psychic emotional energies. This is called empathy or empaths. So those particular people that are empathic, that are able to read people through their emotions, these particular people are going to do well during this shift, during this transit. What the second trine is showing you is that what individuals must do if they're to make it into this, if they're to make it in this new energy. A lot of people hate government control. A lot of people don't want to be up under control of government and the military and stuff like that. And if you don't want to be up under that control, you're going to have to try to find a profession or find an industry that's not being seized and taken over. You know what I'm saying? By these elites and these powers that be. And the healing arts, like I said, music, Love relationships are going to come on the scene too. Like there's going to be a lot of people finding new lovers because of the moon. I'm sorry, because of the Venus trining Pluto. This is a love trine dealing with transformation through love and relationships. So really, we're going back. Like really, like if you want to make it through this energy, you want to make the best out of this energy. It's really a time to kind of go back to the basics. It's a time to go back to that time where, you found you a good woman, or if you're a man, or if you're a woman, you find you a good man, you hook up with him. You know what I'm saying? You make the best of it. You find you a good profession that's geared towards this new energy. Either you're a healer, you're a musician, or something of that nature. But the professions will be more feminine based. Though the top professions will be more feminine based professions. See, in the old energy, the top professions were masculine based professions, construction. Like everybody wanted to go into more masculine, like the male principle rule. But that's ending now. So now the feminine principle will come into play. You'll start to see more women in government. You're going to see women leaders and rulers, females that rule and lead, because the woman's her mindset, not just her mindset, but her opinion will be the final word. See, before the male's opinion was the final word. Like, in the family structure, you would talk over a problem with your family. And whatever the father said, that would be the final word. With this new energy, it's about the woman will lead because it's a feminine based energy. So whatever the woman decides will be the final role. So that's why, or the final word. So that's why it's going to be a time where it's really a war. The wars have to be over because women aren't really for bloodshed or war. That's men. That's a masculine reptilian based trait. So the wars are going to have to be over. The professions are going to have to change around. We definitely are going to have to heal the planet totally and holistically. We're going to have to work together cooperatively instead of competing against each other. Competition will end. So all of these things, that many people have heard me talk about on different videos, going into the fourth dimension, all of these things are going to be accessible. You're going to be able to do these things based on this new ceremony or based on this alignment that's taking place. It's a occult ceremony. And it's important that if you're on this planet right now and you're still here, that you start to learn about the occult. You start to learn about the unknown, because your ability to survive through this time, because you still have to survive through the rest of this war. So your ability to survive in this time will be based on your understanding of the occult and the unseen and the subtle. See, it's the subtle world that's controlling things now. It's not the seen. It's not what you see on TV that's controlling. It's something that you don't see. The things that you don't see is what controls the world right now. And if you want to live and survive, you're going to have to get initiated into that. That's what getting initiated into the occult is. It's getting initiated into the subtle, getting initiated into the unknown, so that you can be able to read energy before it plays out physically. So that's when you talk about the archons being able to take over the planet. The reason why the archons are going to be able to take over the planet is because they're initiated into that subtle energy. They know that subtle energy enough to the point where they can use that subtle energy and make it play out and work the way they want it to work. So it's important that humans get initiated into that. The way you get initiated into that is by getting initiated into yourself. The way you get initiated into yourself is by meditating, by bringing your energy into the heart, by centering yourself and grounding yourself. You're going to see a lot of things during this time that may disturb you. But just stay focused, stay grounded. Like I said, this alignment is a good time. I know I went on a really long rant about different things that this alignment will bring, but this is a really good time. You just got to stay centered and stay focused and know where you choose one of these professions, like whatever you're doing for a living. Choose a profession that really lines up with the new energy, because that's what it's going to be based on. If you're going to make this alignment or this shift that's taking place, if you're going to be able to exist through this time period and of this portal that's opening up, it's going to be based on you having something that you really love to do, and this is how you earn your living. You have to love whatever you're doing. And secondly, you're going to have people in your life, or at least one person in your life that you truly love. A soulmate, a twin flame, someone that you can build with. See, we're going back to the basics. Even though we're going to have a lot of technology, we have access to all this technology, this is the time we're going to be in our homes more. This is the time we're going to be to ourselves more, so it's going to be important that we slow down. We slow down, get out of this player mentality about having a bunch of different women and listening to these rap songs, and they talk about how many women and cars and stuff that they got. All of that stuff is an illusion. I guarantee you, by the time this revelation takes place, which is going to be 4 years later, Like once this energy plays itself out, it's going to take 4 years for this shift to play itself out and this portal to reopen. By that time, all of that stuff is going to be not. Won't be anybody bling blinging. It won't be anybody driving around in these nice cars, and like people spending all this money just to go to an event. Like they spending thousands of dollars just to go to an event and see something, worship someone else, and see them perform. Like all of that stuff is going out. The individual is becoming more empowered, but in that, the world will become a lot smaller because now people will begin to do more for themselves. People begin to know more about themselves and will become more self-centered. Not selfish, but just self-centered in the sense of, you're the center. Self-centered just means you're the center of your environment, meaning that everything revolves around you. You're the controller, the sole controller of your environment. So I hope that helped. I thank you for watching this particular episode. And until we meet again, I'll leave you all in Namaste.